Leaves fall from the trees like so many soldiers falling from the wayside, not knowing why. Being addicts, taking time out on life from something that happened to them that they can't really remember. But it brings me back to that time in 2001 when I had said I was sitting on a milk crate in a basement, and the weather was pretty good. I think it was in September or something. Just kind of in Chicago. It's kind of cool in September, and I was sitting down there in the same clothes for 3 days. I had just got my paycheck, and it was time to go. And when I came out of the basement, it was almost like being a vampire and stuff. Now you come out, you probably went in at night with your money and probably work uniform or whatever. You were supposed to go to work. You were supposed to go to work Monday or something, but you come out of the basement in the same clothes. Everybody else was real nice to you until your money was gone, but you suddenly had to go because you couldn't stay there, and you had to face all the problems and all the responsibility that you had when you left there. People wondering where you are, concerned, and you come out of the basement. The sun is real bright. The leaves have fell off the trees. It is really time to think about everything that you should have did to be prepared to go into the winter of Chicago, because it ain't no joke. And so you come out, people coming and going to work. They're looking at you strange. You can't hardly see because the sun is so bright and the leaves have fell off the trees, and you don't want to call nobody to tell them nothing about you can't come to work. And for an addict and for soldiers, it's kind of like that too. Whether it's drinking, smoking, taking pills or whatever, they tend to take a time out on life. But I went some amazing places. Like I say, I had went to the rehab for 1 year, inpatient. When the Twin Towers was falling, I was seeing it on the news. And at the same time, I was being shipped off to North Chicago, Great Lakes Navy Base. And so I stayed there a year. I wasn't really concerned about nothing but getting high. It was big news when the planes hit, but it wasn't on my top priority then because I wasn't in my right mind. But once I got there, it takes 8 months for you to really get that habit out of your system. The taste of cocaine and the habits of doing it takes 8 months to do that, where you can be responsible and keep money in your pocket and get back to normal. It also takes you leaving your home to go somewhere else. The time that it takes for you to, if you didn't want to get clean, it takes you 3 or 4 months to know your surroundings if you're somewhere else. And by that time and stuff, you don't really tend to dwell on it. It's just a passing thought of getting high and stuff. An addict cannot get clean in his own town. So that's why it's good to go to places that you're not familiar with, and so that way you at least got a fighting chance. So when I went up there, I stayed up there a year, and I came back home. And the thing that most of us do, we come back home looking good, seeing people doing the same thing, and you tend to go around them, not bragging, but with a condescending attitude, of where you've been and what you're gonna do. And before you know it, you're hit blindsided by somebody giving you something, or just having you take them to get something, but telling you that, man, you look good. I wish I would have went out and did whatever. And so maybe you'll go home that day and not think about it. And about a week being in your environment, in your neighborhood, you'll tend to say fuck it in a minute and stuff, and you tend to go back to what you're doing, and you never really realize that it was a process that took you back there. And most addicts are not that lucky where they relapse and go back to the rehab. Some of them go into places and around people, ignorant people, that won't give you a chance to pay them back, or you might have did something to them, and you don't remember. You might have, I don't know, it could be anything. They might just not like you, and especially it might not like you being clean. And it was an incident with this guy. He was a hell of a car salesman, like a rich kid and stuff. And he just went back to people, places, and things, and they killed him. And I don't know if he owed them something. I don't know if they didn't like him. He was like an Italian guy. At my graduation, we have graduation after a year of being in a rehab, and he had diamonds and real nice BMW. And for some reason, he went back around his old neighborhood, because we like to show off if you want to be realistic about it. And something happened, they killed him, And it was just something that stuck on our mind, that you can get killed going back, and those people, places, and things are doing those things. And when you're in the drug life, death don't really bother you, because you don't really realize it. Move out of your old neighborhood for 3 or 4 years and go back in your old neighborhood. You'll see how it changed, and you'll see how dangerous it could be. But when you're in it and around it, it's not dangerous to you, because I don't know, they smell the newness on you, or smell like you're a tourist or something, and you won't survive and stuff. But it ain't a thing of respect, because a lot of times they don't respect you, but they just know you're a part of the environment, and we are a product of our own environment to a big extent. But when leaves fall from the trees, like addicts fall from the wayside, a lot of times we don't know why. Thank you.